Hey guys, Red here, Section 8 guy. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, leave your questions and comments below, or shoot me an email down below in the description. Guys, I would like to start this video off a little differently than all the others because I would like to tell you that you guys are driving me crazy by asking me about buying apartment buildings, okay? If you have never invested in real estate before, please, for the love of God, stop asking me about buying apartment buildings. Okay? That's my message for today. Let me tell you why. If you're new to real estate, I understand you immediately want 20 units, okay? And you immediately want 10 units. Buying an apartment building, okay? I can't tell you the amount of people that are messaging me about buying occupied apartment buildings, okay? I have clients in the coaching program that are like, hey, I have one rental unit. I'm ready to buy an apartment building. Hey, no, you're not. Okay? Think about it. When you buy an apartment building, you're basically buying a company, right? You're buying an asset that has streams of cash flow, right? It's a business, okay? If your system isn't in place and it isn't strong and you're not ready to all of a sudden take on 10 units, okay? And say just a 10 unit apartment building, 10 units, 10 tenants, that's so much, guys. It's so much to start with, okay? Yes, it's easy because it's one transaction, right? Purchasing is one transaction. Buying one apartment building, the actual transactional process is easier than buying 10 single family rental properties. Of course it is, it's one transaction versus 10. However, the actual maintenance, the actual maintaining, the management aspect of a 10-unit apartment building is drastically different, okay, than onboarding one single family rental at a time or two single family rentals at a time. You're dealing with multiple tenants at once, okay? A lot of times people are messaging me about purchasing apartment buildings that are already occupied and cash flowing. It's like you have no understanding of every single unit there. You don't know anything about the unit. I don't care about how many pro formas you've looked at. I don't care about how many P&Ls you've looked at, right? I know you haven't looked at many because a lot of times they're only giving you the past 2 or 3 years at max, okay? So I know you don't really know what the financials look like of the property, right? You don't really know until you own it, okay? So please, for the love of God, stop messaging me and emailing me about buying apartment buildings. When you're ready to buy an apartment building, I'll tell you when you're ready, okay? I'm unbelievably against purchasing apartment buildings that aren't what I like to call value add purchases. Meaning, if you want to purchase an apartment building that's already cash flowing, I am unbelievably against that, especially if you are an early real estate investor. I don't care what Grant Cardone is telling you about purchasing apartment buildings. It is 10 times harder than you think it is, okay? If you already have onboarded single family rental properties or a couple duplexes, okay, which is hard enough, or even a couple 3-family properties or quadplexes, right, 4 families, and you've shown that you can do it, I'll say, okay, let's do an apartment building, but we're starting small. Let's do a 10 unit. Absolute biggest will start. And it must be a value add, meaning it must be below market price. I want it to need work, okay? Because I want to set each unit up to be its own individual investment. When you're looking at apartment buildings, right, you're looking at acquisition cost, okay, per unit, right? So if you buy a 10-unit apartment building and it costs you $300,000, it's a $30,000 price acquisition per unit, okay? We're gonna see what we can rent out each unit for. We need a good yield, we need a good return on each unit. Don't think about it as a whole. Every unit is individual because there are gonna be times where you have a tenant that's not paying, right? I wanna be able to set up each unit the way that I want. I want it to be rent friendly. I want it to keep tenants in for a long time. from a psychological standpoint, we're going to put things in that unit to keep people there, right? We're going to make things nice. We're going to make people want to stay there. We're going to put things in that unit that don't require a lot of maintenance, okay? And then we're going to choose the tenant, right? We're going to mitigate our risk as best as possible. We're not going to inherit someone else's mess. We're not going to inherit someone else's lack of due diligence when it comes to putting tenants in a unit. We are going to mitigate risk by choosing our tenants, the best tenants we can, put them into those units, and then when we're done, we have a updated apartment building that is cash flowing, okay? It has 10 tenants that we placed. I don't care if it takes another 8 months to get the thing up and running. We have tenants that we placed, and now the value of that turnkey apartment building is now way higher than the price we bought it at, okay? It's a value add, meaning it has more value, right? Now we're adding value to it, okay? So it's gonna be a better investment for us. Now we have equity in the building, right? Because we made it better, we updated it, we put tenants in it, it's now a better investment. Okay, it's the only way that I'll allow clients of mine. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, right? But my advice would be don't do it. In order to onboard an apartment building, vacant or unvacant, your team needs to be rock solid. Your contractors need to know what they're doing. They need to be on board. They need to have done units like this before. Your management company needs to understand how to do this. Your liability needs to be covered, right? You need to have the right insurances to do this. It's expensive to do this, right? You need a good amount of finances. You need a lot of cash on hand, right? Instead of renovating one unit, you're renovating 10 or 15 or 20 or 30, however many units your apartment building is. You're not ready to do this as a first investment. I would adamantly move you away from purchasing an apartment building as your first investment because you don't understand the ins and outs of being a landlord, of being an investor who deals with tenants. And all of a sudden you're trying to get 10, you're trying to get 15 or 20. That's 15 or 20 different personalities you have to manage. That's 15 or 20 different families that you have to manage, okay? That is 15 or 20 different independent investments in one. It's not, oh, I'm just gonna get one apartment building, it's gonna cash flow me, we're gonna gross $25,000 a month and it's gonna be great. I'll never have to work. It's not realistic, guys. It's not realistic, okay? When we buy these things, we have to be smart. If you buy a couple single family rentals and you wanna start scaling and you wanna try a multifamily property, I'm all for it. I have clients that come on board that have portfolios that have 10, 15, 20 cash flowing rental properties already, and they're like, okay, I'm ready to buy a big apartment building. I want to start with a 20 or 30 unit apartment building. I say, okay, let me see the numbers on your rental properties. Let me see where you're at. Let me see your team. Let me see how fast you've scaled. Let me see everything you have in place. Let me see your foundation. How are these properties purchased? How much cash do you have? Are you ready to do this? And then it's like, okay, yeah, you're ready to do it. Let's do this. Let's onboard this thing. But when I have people tell me, hey, I want to buy a 10 unit apartment building or 15 unit apartment building, it's going to be my first investment in real estate. I go, okay, well, you are crazy because you don't understand how much work this is and how many pitfalls and, the thing I want the most from my clients, guys, is, and from you watching this video, the first rental experience you have as a landlord, the first investment property that you have as a investor in rental property is the most important, because whatever taste that leaves in your mouth, whatever experience that you have in onboarding that property, that is going to be your experience. It's going to be the only experience you know. So if you start small and you're just home run after home run after home run, which is what I try to line up on a tee for my clients, right? Home run after home run after home run. And I'm going to start getting some clients on this channel so you can hear their individual stories. But if I'm putting things on a tee for you, right? Boom, home run, home run, home run. And then you have the confidence, the understanding, you've dealt with some adversity, you understand what it takes. Then it's like, okay, let's start talking about adding multiple doors at the same time. But if you have no experience, you don't have no understanding of adversity, and all of a sudden I say, okay, here's 10 properties, or 10 units, boom, and put them on your desk, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't even know where to start. Of course you're not gonna know where to start, because you have no experience. I can be guiding you all you want, but at the end of the day, it's still very overwhelming, okay? So please, stop this, okay? Let's do one at a time. Let's slow down. It's not a race. It's about getting consistent, quality units up and running, seeing the cash flow, seeing the investment work, and then we get another one, and then we scale, and we scale, and we scale, and when the time is right, we do something like this. But until then, please stop. Please stop. Okay? You guys are the best. Leave your questions and comments below. I'll see you next time.